Hello, everyone. Um, Very nice to see you all in the room. Let me just quickly say a few words about who I am and why I am here, and uh, basically do a quick introduction of myself in my presentation. But before I do this, let's check if you can hear me well. Can you please write in the chat that you hear me? All right, all right, all right. Very nice. Uh, so, um, my name is Alex. I work for SAP, a big software manufacturer. Um, my role is called uh, expert, HR transformation expert, and my responsibilities include basically two things. First, I talk to HR people in the companies who want to do HR transformation and help them in how to basically transform their HR, which means processes, HR data, HR automation systems, et cetera, et cetera. And the second half of my role is called kind of an evangelist. So an evangelist role is to basically evangelize the SAP HR systems and HR practices, because SAP is one of the world's biggest IT companies, and uh, a lot of the HR policies that we use are top class, and we are very happy to share those practices and policies with our potential customers and just any HR and the whole HR community. My presentation is called Lessons of COVID-19 for HR Automation. And let me share my screen, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what I will talk about. Oh, just a second. Okay, now it should be better. Just one more second. I'll share the screen. Okay, so this presentation is called Pandemic Lessons for HR Digital, or whatever, lessons of COVID-19 for HR automation. Um, while performing my job for SAP, I see a lot of companies and a lot of our potential customers and our current customers uh, going through the pandemic in different countries, but of course primarily in our region in CIS and Eastern Europe. And there are companies who do it better. There are companies who do it not so good. But well, in a nutshell, heavily depends on how well your HR is structured, and how well your HR is automated, and how well your HR digital policies are structured. This basically means that the more automated you are, the better you go through crisis, the more flexible your company is, and the easier it is for you to go through such critical periods in your company's history. But it's not enough to just say that, and it's not really interesting. What is interesting is what exactly is happening to your company, the real cases, and the real solutions for these cases. And let me show you a little bit about how companies actually do that. First of all, this is well, I shared this presentation with organizers, and I hope they will distribute it with all the with all the audience. This is basically the first slide is how we at SAP see the HR cycle and requirements for a modern HR IT system. You see several boxes that are in beige. Let's call this color beige, okay? Now, these boxes represent the talent management cycle. Now, there are also boxes that are white, and the white boxes don't represent something cyclical, but they also represent very important HR processes. So the talent management cycle starts with recruitment and onboarding, and then it also is comprised of performance management, reward, learning, and succession and development. While there are several processes that are not really cyclical, but that are very, very important for our organization existence and for our employee experience. Core HR processes and payroll processes, if they are structured well, your company is basically in good relations with the government, right? Because what we need core HR processes for is basically good relations with our government, and compliance with all the laws, right? Intercom and collaboration processes allow us to make the life of our employees better by informing them timely about what is happening and what is going to happen, and also by letting them collaborate, work together, create something together, even in the times of the pandemic. Well, especially in the times of the pandemic. And then there are feedback and analytics tools, which I will dwell upon a little bit later. But feedback and analytics tools are the tools that help us understand what people think, how they feel, and what they need. And then by analyzing those needs and those feelings, and even emotions, because we live in the economy of emotions and experiences. So by analyzing this, we can be a little bit more clear about what we are going to do with the employee experience, the initiatives that we have, etc., etc. Now, let's look a little bit about how the ideal IT architecture in HR should look like. We start with core processes and payroll processes. Like I said, they should be automated because it basically means that we are compliant with the laws. Right? They are mostly in multinational companies. They're mostly in the cloud now. Those processes, except the cases where the data is really sensitive. So we want to keep them on our servers. Now, the next level is corporate portal with self-service tools and document management capabilities. This is very important, especially the self-service tools that allows us to that allow our employees to change their data themselves, for instance, their personal data inside the company, to ask for a vacation through their mobile phone, to order new laptop through a mobile phone, to approve somebody's vacation or somebody's request if you're a manager, again, from your mobile phone. Then we have an integrated talent management system. The integrated is basically the main word here, because the integrated talent management system is built on the single data framework, which allows us to have very good analytics, and which also makes our life very easy as compared to the situation where each process operates on its own data set. Because even to solve simple analytical tasks, we very often need data from several systems. So the talent management system should be integrated and should cover, let's say, 70% of all your talent management processes and talent management needs. The remaining 30% you can cover by special applications, special small services that you can plug in and plug out of your system. But your core and your talent management, it's good if it's integrated. The next level is social networking tools. And social networking tools have one very important aspect. It's not enough just to have a social network in your company nowadays. A good social networking tool is also a knowledge management tool, and also an intracom tool. So your internal communication space, your learning space, your collaboration space, and your knowledge management space should be basically one and the same system. Now, what we have in the end, employee experience tools, feedback tools, chatbots, predictive analytics, whatever, basically. Integration with productivity tools like Microsoft Office and Microsoft Teams and microservices. Now, this is the ideal version of IT HR architecture. Now, let's look how it really looks like. So, okay, core HR, almost every company has core HR automated, again, because it's an instrument that allows us to be compliant with the laws. Now, usually a company has a corporate portal that is like one-way mass communication tool. So it's like a newspaper, but in electronic format. While most basic processes are still done through the staff department, right? For those of you who don't know Russian, it is actually the word staff department. Now, most of the companies try to start their HRIT architecture also with recruitment and learning, because recruitment and learning are two basic talent management needs as seen by the management, right? So management always asks two questions from HR: who did you hire, and why are they not performing well, right? So okay, we need to hire the right people. We need to make them well educated for their job. And then what goes next is, okay, we start automating talent management processes. We don't want a long way to automate it. So very often, let's say guys from a very nice little startup come to us and they go like, okay, guys, let's make you a chatbot. And we go like, okay, let's do it. So they make us a chatbot, and the chatbot helps us a lot in a way that the chatbot tells the people where the staff department is situated, on which floor, and how many signatures they should collect before going there. This is not the best way to perform HR automation. Now, a lot of companies also try to build a social network on the same technologies that they have in their corporate portal. It doesn't really work, unfortunately, because you cannot make Facebook out of Google. And also, most processes, I'm sorry, this is suddenly in Russian. Most processes are done in Excel. So this is the situation where this is the situation with which most companies actually face the crisis. And now let's go to the cases, real life cases from the pandemic, from our customers. This is going to be like 5 stories. The first story: self-service is an electronic signature. Okay, we have a customer which is a big bank, and all of the employees of the bank went on work from home mode, right? But their basic processes were done on paper. So if your basic processes are done on paper and you should collect documents and bring them to the staff department, but you sit at home and the staff department guys also sit at home, what do? You go like, okay, let's just do it, and then we will sign everything. And then when the quarantine ends and the guys from the staff departments, from HR, they go back to their workplaces, what they have is huge pile of unsigned documents. Now, the backlog, the signature backlog, that is what we call it. Now, the signature backlog is a lot of work for HR, but it's not just a lot of work, it's a lot of possible mistakes. And this is now going to become very sensitive because mistakes in basic HR processes are basically a breach of compliance. So we become vulnerable as a company that the local labor regulator can come to us and see that we are not doing everything on time. Now, the way out of this situation is a system that allows you to do most your processes electronically, right? Most basic processes can be fulfilled through mobile phone. Again, you can receive all the spravkas, like we say in Russia, all the documents signed electronically. Fortunately enough, the pandemic has shown that it is really necessary. So in Russia, we're now expecting that the government will take very quick and swift measures to let the companies do it electronically in most cases. And we're really moving there. But also with SAP, we have systems that we can propose to our clients, to our customers, that do that. Now, the second one is about performance management and payroll. Imagine yourself in a retail company which works throughout the region. Well, you see a map of Russia here. Russia is comprised of 89 regions at the moment, or 88, something like that. And during the pandemic, every region had its own regulations on work from home, on how the stores were closed, or fast food restaurants were closed, or they were operating just as takeaway places. And okay, you have several restaurants that are open, several restaurants that are closed, several restaurants that are operating on a takeaway basis, right? If you are a restaurant company, if you are a retail company, you have several stores that are closed, several stores that are open. Now you have your internet shop, and everywhere, everything in terms of the performance management and in terms of payroll is broken because you need to pay, by law, you are required to pay 2/3 of the person's salary if the person is sitting at home because you ask them to. Some of the people in, let's say, a restaurant chain work as a takeaway, so the restaurant doesn't really do a lot of profit, but you still have to calculate all the bonuses for them. And in every region, this situation is different. So this is a nightmare for compensation and benefits people. And this nightmare can be eliminated, or at least made a little bit less of a nightmare by introducing a system that that automates an end-to-end process from performance management to payroll. It also means, again, less mistakes, and payroll mistakes or bonus calculation mistakes are very sensitive and sometimes very hard to improve. So if you have a system that allows an end-to-end automation of all your bonus calculations, and then it also connected to your payroll system, so that you can pay people in the right way on time with no mistakes or almost no mistakes. This is a very different situation. So we have several customers that have implemented SAP systems that automate end-to-end process from performance management to payroll. One of them is called SAP Success Factors, and they are in a much better situation than our other customers and partners who didn't do it. Okay, now succession and shift management is also a case during the pandemic. Now, succession is always a problem, but it is a problem that nobody sees, because there is a risk that your key people will leave the company, right? But again, it's not happening every day. A key person can leave the company and your key process will stop, but it's not happening every day, usually. So a lot of companies didn't really think about it. Now, after the pandemic, when everybody could just fall ill, could get COVID-19 and get out of work for an unidentified period of time. So in this situation, a lot of companies finally understood that it is important to build your succession systems. Now, the other side of this story is if you work in companies, in a company with a lot of mass personnel, like a retail company that still operates during the pandemic. Imagine that somebody got infected. Now, the whole shift that this person is in should be quarantined, right? Because you don't want the other persons in the shift to get COVID-19 as well. Then you have to replace this shift with different people. And if you have automated this process, that's of course much better and much easier than do it by hand. Now the learning, onboarding, and communications. I have one slide for this story because this is actually becoming one and the same process. This is really becoming one and the same process because let's say during the pandemic, if you hire a new person, you need to onboard them. What do? Usually you walk them into the office and you show them where and what is situated, and you let them shake hands with the people they will work with. But you cannot do it during the pandemic. So what you do is you basically get this person and subscribe them to all the groups in your internal social network where the people he or she will work with are communicating to each other. This way, onboarding process is much easier. Now, the same thing with learning. Learning is evolving very quickly, and inside SAP and also in several of our customers, they do it the following way. Okay, you have taken a course in a learning management system, but after you take this course, the last thing you see in this course is a link to a group in the social networks where professionals that like this topic or that are knowledgeable in this topic are communicating to each other. And if you want to know more, if you want to ask questions, if you want to contribute something to this topic, you can go there and actually communicate to them. Now, communications, internal communication has become a key topic during the COVID-19, and again, it is much easier to do it. It is much easier to do it if you have a social network, because you can get instant feedback on everything you post. You can communicate with your employees in real time, and your internal communication services and systems, they become top class. Now, The last but not the least, feedback and employee experience management. During the COVID period, where everybody worked from home and when the traditional ways of communication were broken, you cannot just go around the office and talk to your people and understand what they're thinking about. So the only way, probably the only way to do it is to use pulse surveys or like chatbots that regularly ask your people what is happening, how they feel, what they need, etc., etc. One of our customers asked their employees what can be done better, and the employees said, "Okay, the workplace in my flat, in my house, is not as well organized as in the office." And the company basically let their employees take their big monitors, their office chairs to their homes. Another, our customers again asked their employees what can be done better, and the employees said that, okay, we have those cards that we use in the corporate canteen, but they're useless now. We still have money on the cards, but we cannot use them because we don't have any corporate canteen anymore. It just doesn't work. We don't work in the office. And so the company has made an agreement with the local food delivery service that their employees could pay for food delivery with their food cards from the canteen. And by doing a lot of small steps like this, you can make the life of your people much, much easier. But again, to understand what they feel and what they need, you need to use tools like what I just described. Thank you very much. And by the way, we have a free survey on remote work. If you're still working remotely and if you are going to come back to the office, and if you know, if you want to know your employees' feedback on how better to do it, we have a link. It's a free tool. You can use it for completely for free. And this is a very nice survey that will help your company understand the feelings and the needs of your employees. Okay, now thank you very much. I'm ready for questions. Any questions, please? Okay, so Anna is asking to put the link in the chat. Okay, let me. I'm sorry. Let me do it. Okay, Lilith is asking, what HR tools would you suggest for companies that have, sorry, it rolls, that have branches in different part of the world, tools that can be flexible to integrate. Look, if it depends on where your company is situated. But basically, there are several systems made by the biggest vendors in the industry, like Workday, Oracle, and of course SAP. Uh, um, so they are more or less equally good, but SuccessFactors from SAP has one very nice advantage. It is very well localized in the local languages of our part in the world, our part of the world. So it's Russian, Armenian, Georgian, Azeri. So if you have branches in different parts of the world, including our part of the world, then I would really recommend you to take a look at SAP SuccessFactors. Okay. Can you please elaborate a bit more on SAP solutions and how they help automate HR processes? Thanks, Vaspur, for the question. Uh, well, the question is, well, the answer is pretty easy. The first slide that I showed in my presentation basically shows the requirements for HR IT systems and how they help to organize and automate HR processes. Now, SAP SuccessFactors does it all. So it's an integrated systems that can basically fulfill your every HR automation need. It is not. It cannot cover like everything. Of course there are requirements in different companies that no system can do. So you have to use several systems. But as your core HR, as your talent management platform, as your social networking platform, SAP SuccessFactors is probably one of the best in the world. So yeah, that's probably the question. That's probably the answer. Do you think that process automation always leads to staff reductions? Thanks, Piruz, for the question. Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. Now, it doesn't always lead to staff reductions. Why? Because staff reductions are not the best way to deal with people who have less work with the introduction of the systems. The best way to deal with it is to let your HR people do something more meaningful and more valuable. For instance, now you have, as an example, now you have a lot of people in recruitment who are dealing with basic recruitment needs, like, I don't know, basically sorting the resumes, the CVs, or I don't know, calling your candidates and uh, putting the meetings in schedule of your managers, right? Now, if you have a system that automates this, what do you do with these people? You don't fire them. Instead, you make their work more meaningful, right? You make them dedicate more time to attending the interviews, to consulting your managers, to doing something that is more valuable for the management and for the company as a whole. So no, process automation doesn't have to lead to staff reductions, but what it really does is making your people much more effective. That's what it does, really. Okay, so any more questions? Okay, now thank you very much. Then I don't see any more questions. So uh, if you're interested in something, you can write me an email. My email is on the last page of my presentation. If you're interested in SAP products, you can also write me an email, and I will connect you with the people who work for Armenia in SAP CIS. And yeah, okay, there is still one question. No, I think I actually answered everything. Okay. What's the partnership model of SAP with local consulting companies, local representation, or authorized partners? Uh, Look, if you're interested in partnership, you can basically send me an email, and I will answer your questions separately, because we deal with every company separately in this manner. There are several models of partnership and several levels of partnership. So it depends on what you can do and what you're interested in doing. But basically, yeah, send me an email. I will connect you to the partners department. They will tell you everything. So now I think that's it. All right. Thank you very much. Was Yeah, okay, Maspur, I see, I see. Please send me an email, and we'll talk. Thank you very much. Was very nice to see you all. I hope you liked my presentation, and thanks a lot.